Like, this for me is one of the biggest, like, oh my god, we're screwed moments for the WNBA.
The WNBA is drowning, and they're too proud to admit they can't swim without their life preserver. Caitlin Clark has been sidelined with a quad injury since May 24th, and the league is experiencing what can only be described as a complete financial meltdown.
The first time without Caitlin, come on, these guys got to do $1 million, right? No, they got to do 900,000 then, right? No, 800,000. What about 700,000? What? 600,000 views. Without a helpful hand from Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever.
They're scrambling like a rookie coach in the final seconds, except there's no timeout left to save them. The numbers don't lie. Nationally televised WNBA viewership has plummeted by a staggering 55% since Clark went down. That's not a dip, folks. That's a nosedive straight into the concrete of reality.
It was just announced that WNBA TV ratings are down more than 50% since Caitlin Clark's injury. And it was also reported that the Indiana Fever television viewership is also down over 53%.
Meanwhile, the Fever's national TV games have crashed by 53%, dropping from 1.81 million viewers to a measly 847,000. To put that in perspective, that's nearly 1 million people who decided they'd rather watch paint dry than the WNBA without Caitlin Clark. The league went from appointment television to background noise faster than you can say, "Where's everybody going?"
There were 3 players on the floor with signature shoes. 3. Not 1, not 2, but 3 players on the floor that have signature shoes. 606K on ESPN. The Fever, without Caitlin Clark, get more viewers on Ion. The Fever, without Caitlin Clark, Fever get more views on NBA TV.
And here's the kicker. This isn't just about one team. This is about an entire league that built its recent success on the back of one player and is now learning the hard way what happens when you put all your eggs in one basket. But let's talk money, because that's what really makes the suit sweat. Ticket prices for Fever road games have crashed harder than a meteorite.
As much as some people hate to admit it, the WNBA needs Caitlin Clark. Because for ratings to be down 50% since she's been injured is insane, and it shows her worth that she brings to the league. It shows that she brings eyes. Now, I'm not going to lie, 20 to 25%.
Before Clark's injury, fans were paying $86 just to get into a game in Chicago. After the injury announcement, $25. In Washington, prices dropped from $41 to $14. That's a 66% and 66% drop respectively, and those numbers should terrify every WNBA executive who thought they could ride this wave forever. The secondary market doesn't lie. When your star player isn't playing, people aren't paying.
Wait a minute. Let me make sure I'm understanding this correctly. A league that is desperate for attention. A league that is begging to be noticed. A league that's been completely ignored and forgotten over the last couple of weeks. This dump of dumps that can't generate interest based on their on-court product, which mainly consists of airballed free throws and some of the worst pretend basketball imaginable. This league is so bad, they can't even pretend to play well. A league that is struggling to sell tickets.
If you are enjoying, please subscribe. The WNBA was foolish enough to believe they had organically grown their audience, when in reality, they had borrowed Caitlin Clark's audience. Clark was responsible for a mind-boggling 26.5% of all WNBA economic activity last season. Think about that. One player out of over 140 in the league generated more than a quarter of the entire league's revenue. She was worth an estimated $875 million to the league in 2024, with projections easily eclipsing $1 billion for 2025. But now they're watching their golden goose nurse a quad injury while their revenue streams dry up faster than a puddle in the desert.
has been a lightning rod for attention since entering the league. She brought in new fans, national media, and even primetime slots. Her absence isn't just hurting the Indiana Fever, it's apparently impacted the entire league's momentum. But this also sparks a deeper conversation. Is it fair for one rookie to carry the weight of an entire league's popularity? You see, critics say the WNBA's marketing has leaned heavily on Caitlin Clark.
And where was the WNBA when their meal ticket was getting mauled on the court? Nowhere to be found. They stood by and watched as player after player took cheap shots at Clark as if she was some kind of target practice dummy instead of the league's biggest draw. DJ Carrington leads the league in flagrant fouls with 3 in just over a month. Most players don't get one in an entire season. Chennedy Carter body slammed Clark like she was in a WWE ring, not a basketball court. Angel Reese was cheering from the bench as if watching her rival get hurt was entertainment. The referees? Don't even get me started on those clowns. They've been turning their backs, literally, on Caitlin Clark while she gets hammered.
I hope that is a wake-up call for Kathy Engelberg. Hello, lady. Wake up. Wake up. That's your golden goose. Wake up. Stop trying to kill her. I'm sick of this lady, bro. I can't stand Kathy Engelberg. Nobody cares about the other players like that, and it's just proof in the pudding. So 50%, that's a huge number. Okay, significant. So you need to protect your golden goose. You need to change the rules. You also got to get better referees to protect your asset, or your asset is gone. How about that? That's what needs to happen, because if you don't protect the golden goose now, you should be gone.
Coach Stephanie White has called the officiating egregious and said the disrespect for their team has been unbelievable. When your star player is getting fouled more than anyone else in the league, 46 times in just the first third of the season, and the refs are treating it like it's part of the show, you've got a problem. They call technical fouls on Clark for hitting the back of the backboard, but let opponents clothesline her without a whistle. Indiana Congressman Jim Banks had to write a letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert demanding answers about Clark's safety. When politicians are getting involved because your officiating is so bad that it's becoming a public safety issue, you know you've screwed up royally. Banks highlighted how Clark's impact on viewership and attendance has been massive, yet the league refuses to protect their golden goose. It's like having a Ferrari and letting people take baseball bats to it in the parking lot.
Because we had so much drama and the media, I felt like, mishandled so many things with the WNBA last season, and specifically with Caitlin Clark and her fan base. And that's one thing when you start thinking about how many people stopped watching when Caitlin Clark got injured. A lot of people stopped watching because they are boycotting the WNBA. They don't want to give viewership to any other teams or any other players, whether they like other players on the team or not, because of how the media and the league itself has handled Caitlin Clark and how they have treated her fans.
The WNBA created this monster, and now they can't control it. They hyped up rivalries, encouraged physical play, and turned basketball games into gladiator matches. But here's what they didn't count on. When your star player gets hurt from all that physical play, the viewers disappear. Sports betting on Indiana Fever games dropped by nearly 50% within a week of Clark's injury. BetMGM reported a 37% drop in betting activity for games without Clark. When even the gamblers won't touch your product, you know you're in trouble. The league's attendance averaged 9,807 fans in 2024, up from 6,615 in 2023, a jump that coincided perfectly with Clark's arrival. The Fever alone averaged 17,036 fans per game, more than the NBA's Indiana Pacers, but now, with Clark sidelined, arenas are echoing like abandoned warehouses. The WNBA enjoyed its highest ticket sales in 26 years during May 2024, up 156% from the previous year. Guess what the common denominator was? Caitlin Clark.
You care about TV ratings, you protect the golden goose. It's not about special privileges, it's just keeping it fair with the referees, but also keeping it fair for everybody. The stupid ticky-tack fouls, even Kelsey Plum Dog is pissed off and yelling at the refs in press conferences. So 50% of your audience is gone, and also hurt the Indiana Fever as well, because the Indiana Fever fans are not going to games as often. When are you going to wake up? The league is literally Caitlin Clark. And I said this before, that Caitlin Clark should claim the WNBA as dependent at this point.
Television partners are feeling the burn too. The league's broadcasting affiliates invested heavily in WNBA coverage, assuming Clark would continue drawing massive audiences. ESPN, ABC, CBS, they all made significant commitments based on Clark's drawing power. Now they're staring at ratings that have fallen off a cliff. The Fever's most recent game against Chicago drew 1.92 million viewers. Decent numbers, but a significant drop from their season opener when both Clark and Angel Reese were healthy. Merchandise sales, which skyrocketed 500% with Clark leading the charge, are now suffering. Fans aren't buying jerseys for players they don't care about watching. The WNBA's entire economic ecosystem was built around one player, and now they're learning what happens when that foundation cracks. Clark's Nike deal alone is worth $28 million, more than most WNBA teams generate in revenue. She made $76,535 as a rookie while generating hundreds of millions for the league. The WNBA had the blueprint for success right in front of them. Protect your star, promote your star, profit from your star. Instead, they let other players treat Clark like a piñata and act surprised when she gets hurt. They allowed a culture of resentment to fester, where established players viewed Clark's success as a threat rather than an opportunity for the entire league. The league chose politics over profits, and now they're paying the price.
But the fact that she literally can double the ratings or sometimes triple the ratings of WNBA games, they need her to be as healthy as possible. And despite how anyone feels, TV ratings are how you get paid. When WNBA players say they're underpaid, it's because people don't watch it as much as they watch other sports. So I don't care how you feel about her. If you like the W, if you like women's basketball, you need Caitlin Clark because she brings eyes, which then gets everybody paid.
Here's the reality check the WNBA desperately needs. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player. She's the player. She's not just generating revenue. She's generating relevance. Without her, the WNBA reverts to what it was before she arrived, a niche league that most people ignored. The league's expansion plans, media deals, and charter flights are all built on the foundation of Clark's popularity. Remove that foundation, and everything comes crashing down. The Indiana Fever have gone 2-3 without Clark, and their offensive efficiency has plummeted. They're averaging 76.4 points per game without her compared to 88 with her. That's an 11.6-point drop. Their assists have fallen from 20 per game to 17.8. It's not just about individual statistics, it's about the entire dynamic of the game. Clark doesn't just play basketball, she elevates it. She turns mundane possessions into highlight reels and routine games into must-see television.
The WNBA is literally living off of one player. Her name is Caitlin Clark. And Caitlin Clark is literally the whole entire league. And I try to tell you fans, you WNBA fans who are so pig-headed at times, they don't care about Nafisa Collier, they don't care about Aja Wilson, and these Paige Becker fans, yeah, they don't care about her either, bro. It's all about Caitlin Clark. The ratings went down 50% because Caitlin Clark got hurt.
The WNBA's 2026 media rights deal, worth $2.2 billion over 11 years, was negotiated with Clark's popularity in mind. Networks aren't paying that kind of money for empty arenas and declining viewership. They're paying for the Caitlin Clark effect, the phenomenon that turns basketball games into cultural events. But if the league can't protect its biggest asset, those networks might start having second thoughts when it comes time to renew. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert talks about sustained growth and diverse audiences, but the numbers tell a different story. The growth isn't sustained, it's Clark dependent. The diverse audiences aren't sticking around for other players, they're Clark specific. The WNBA confused correlation with causation and assumed that because viewership was up across the board, they had successfully grown the sport. In reality, they had successfully marketed one player who happened to play in their league.
The Fever without Caitlin Clark are still 100 times more relevant than any other team, playing anyone but the Fever. And yeah, you can say, okay, yeah, the Fever pulled in the record viewers because it was the Fever against Angel Reese, but it's when you are only seen as good people to watch when you're playing the Fever, that's not a good sign.
Even when Clark returns, the damage may already be done. Trust is like a Ming vase. Once it's broken, the cracks always show. Fans have seen how the league treats its biggest star, and they've seen what happens when she's not there. The WNBA had lightning in a bottle and decided to shake it until it broke. They had a generational talent who could have carried the league for a decade, and they let petty jealousies and misguided notions of competitive balance destroy their golden opportunity. The league sits at a crossroads now. They can acknowledge their mistakes, implement better player protection policies, and build their marketing strategy around their actual draws rather than their aspirational ones. Or they can continue pretending that Caitlin Clark is just another player while watching their viewership, revenue, and relevance circle the drain. The choice is theirs, but the clock is ticking. Every game Clark misses is another game worth of viewers who might not come back.
As much as some people hate to admit it, the WNBA needs Caitlin Clark. Because for ratings to be down 50% since she's been injured is insane, and it shows her worth that she brings to the league. It shows that she brings eyes.
The WNBA's current crisis is entirely self-inflicted. They had the perfect storm of talent, marketability, and timing with Caitlin Clark, and they squandered it by refusing to acknowledge what was right in front of them. Instead of embracing their superstar, they enabled her detractors. Instead of protecting their investment, they allowed it to be damaged. Instead of building a sustainable model around proven success, they clung to outdated notions of parity that ultimately hurt everyone. The numbers don't lie, and the WNBA can't hide from them much longer. Caitlin Clark is the difference between relevance and obscurity, between profit and loss, between growth and stagnation. The sooner the league accepts this reality and acts accordingly, the sooner they can get back to the business of actually growing women's basketball. Until then, they'll continue to learn the hard way that in professional sports, star power isn't just important, it's everything.